Welcome friends, in this video let's discuss about Basel Convention on control of transboundary movement of hazardous waste and their disposal. This Basel Convention is an international treaty. The main aim of this convention is to reduce the movement of hazardous waste between the nations, okay, and specifically to prevent the transfer of hazardous waste from developed countries to less developed countries. So here this convention reduces the movement of, that is the transboundary movement of hazardous waste from one country to another, specifically the movement of waste from developed countries to the less developed countries. And main important thing is here is that it does not cover the movement of radioactive waste. Radioactive waste is outside the ambit of this Basel Convention. It was adopted in 1989 and came into force on 1992. There are 182 parties to the convention, including the European Union countries, and Haiti and the United States have signed the convention but not ratified it, so they are not the parties to the convention. So the adoption of this convention has a history. There are several incidents in 1970s and 80s where, because of the strict environmental legislation and regulation in the developed countries, which made the possessors of hazardous waste to recycle this waste and dispose in a safe manner. So since this recycling and disposal in a safe manner involves huge capital and money, so they simply transported this hazardous waste into developing and least developed countries to escape the financial burden. So these developed countries, various corporations and organizations transported the hazardous waste from that country to least developed countries, because the regulation is very lax here. There is no regulation for the hazardous waste in the developing countries and least developed countries. So they simply transported their waste to the least developed countries. So this is the thing here. And two incidents which led to the convention was, one incident is that of Khian Sea waste disposal incident. So in this incident, a ship carrying incinerator ash from the city of Philadelphia in US dumped half of its load on a beach in Haiti before being forced away. Here, a ship carrying waste, that is the ash from United States, it is a developed country, they dumped the waste in the sea coast of Haiti. It is a least developed country. So here it shows the hegemony of the United States, where they dump the their waste in the least developed countries. And in 1988, cocoa case, in which 5 ships transported 8,000 barrels of hazardous waste from developed country, that is Italy, to small town Cocoa in Nigeria, developing country. In exchange, here irony is that this organization which carries hazardous waste from Italy, they leased a land from a farmer in Nigeria, and they pay $100 rent each month to dump the waste from Italy in his farmland. So a mere $100 is enough to buy a farmland to dump the waste in the developing countries, because these countries are poor. So if provided a certain monetary benefit, they may allow any kind of hazardous waste in their land. So in order to regulate this transboundary movement of hazardous waste from developed countries to the developing countries, this convention was adopted. And these practices have made various environmental activists termed this practice as toxic colonialism, because they transport toxic waste from their country to colonial countries, neo-colonial countries. So the main objective of this convention is to protect human health and environment against the adverse effect of hazardous waste. And the principal aim of the convention is to reduce the hazardous waste generation at the basic level itself, and also to restrict the transboundary movement of hazardous waste so that it may not pollute the developing countries' areas and ecosystems because of the lax environmental regulations that are present in the developing countries. And also, if at all, if there is a need for the transport of hazardous waste from one country to the another country, then that process will be regulated through proper regulatory system for transboundary movement of hazardous waste. through this convention. So these three are the principal aims, that is reduction of hazardous waste, and also restrict of the movement of this waste, and also to regulate the movement of this waste from one country to the another. Under the convention, it has various annexes. Under this annex, they list various hazardous waste. Okay, accordingly they are regulated during their interstate transportation. Here the convention has two annexes, annex 1 and annex 2. Under annex 1, hazardous waste are included. Various hazardous wastes are listed under the annex 1, and the importance is given accordingly, okay, to this waste while regulating. And annex 2 include second class of waste called other waste. This includes household waste. So there are two annexes, one related to hazardous waste and other related to household waste. And various kind of waste are regulated under Basel Convention. These include biomedical and healthcare wastes, that means waste utilized by the hospitals, okay, discarded by the hospitals, used oils, used lead acid batteries, persistent organic pollutants that which persist in the environment, and polychlorinated biphenyl. This is also a persistent organic pollutant. All the chemical waste which are generated by the industries and also which are disposed by the consumers. These are all covered under the Basel Convention. And please note that radioactive wastes are not covered under the Basel Convention. And these are all the battery wastes, cell waste from electronic equipments. So these can be recycled by the countries itself before without transporting them into the other disposal mechanism. So environmentally sound regulation must be made to dispose of these things. So thanks for watching.